Is this a dagger I see before me? No, really, is it? Does the fallibility of sensory evidence, the fact that we can make mistakes about what we're seeing, hearing, touching, tasting or smelling, does that mean that our senses are never reliable? Well, Macbeth was just hallucinating. But in ordinary life, we can make mistakes too. Take this pencil, for example. Now, I'm no magician, but it looks bent, doesn't it? But we know that's just an illusion. But if appearances can be deceptive, does that mean we should never trust them? Surely that would make life unlivable. So generally, we have to treat appearances as accurate, at least until experience proves otherwise. Philosophers are interested in getting behind appearances. We want to know what the truth is, how things really are. Or if we can't discover that, we'd like to establish the limits of what we can know so that we can avoid talking nonsense. In the worst case, we'd also like to know if we can't know anything at all, except the fact that we can't know anything at all, which would be disappointing, but hey, we'd still like to know. So that's what we want to know, but can we know anything?
Imagine prisoners that have spent their entire lives chained deep inside a cave. They have been chained so that they cannot see behind themselves, and they are forced to stare endlessly at the cave wall in front of them. Behind them, a fire is burning.
Plato used the metaphor of a cave to explain what he saw as the true nature of reality. Most of us are like people chained facing the wall of the cave, watching flickering representations on the wall, and taking these shadows for the real things, and not realizing there is a world outside the cave. Philosophers, however, aren't so readily taken in by appearances. By the power of reason, they get beyond the unreliable evidence of the senses and think their way towards the truth. But surely I can know that I'm awake. I can know that I'm not dreaming, can't I? Well, that's a hard one. I might feel that I'm awake, but most of us have had dreams in which we think we've woken up, but are really still asleep, so-called false awakenings. Maybe that's happening now. Perhaps I'm still really asleep, and perhaps you are too. But there are some things everyone knows. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Something as abstract as that must be beyond doubt. Not necessarily.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, what I was going to tell him was that I might just be a brain with electrodes sticking out of it, and an evil scientist manipulating my inputs, so that I have the illusion that 2 plus 2 equals 4, when in fact it equals 5. I know that's pretty unlikely, but I can't be certain that that's not what's happening. What would the evidence be? A really clever scientist might be able to give me a complete illusion of reality. And if this evil scientist can make me believe whatever she or he wants, then perhaps I can't be sure of anything.
Possibly not. But the great philosopher René Descartes had a clever answer to that question. He called just about everything into doubt until he could come up with something that he thought had to be true. And the rabbit he pulled out of his philosophical hat, I exist, or cogito ergo sum, as he put it in Latin. I think, therefore I am. This must be true because in the very act of questioning my own belief and doubting that I exist, I prove that I do exist. I think, I doubt, therefore I exist. Now, I might not be able to say very much about what I am. I might not even exist as a body. And most or even all of my other beliefs might be delusional. But still, as long as I doubt, I exist. I must exist. But that answer only leads to another question. Even if I'm sure I do exist, which I think I do, and therefore I am, then who am I? I can think, therefore I am. But what kind of I am I?